Hi, this is Delmar Bob again here at Equilink.com, your one-stop source for all things horse. Today we're going to go over some basics on horse racing. We've gotten a lot of emails and letters from people asking, how to bet, what goes on at the racetrack, and so on. It's a very intimidating place if you haven't been there a lot. It makes you feel foolish if you've got to ask Uncle Harry, well, what does that mean? How do I do this? How do I do that? Or just sit there. But it's really a simple operation once you get the terminology down and what you get to do. So we'll be having a number of seminars for you beginners out there, for you newcomers to the racetrack, about what to look for in a horse, how to bet, how to place a bet, how to find a good horse at a good distance at a good price. All those things together will be coming up in here, so it's an educational source and also a lot of fun that we've got going on here. Today we'll start with the betting. That's what most people are interested into. And the first thing is that the betting at the racetrack is not what you're used to in Las Vegas. It is not betting against the house. As a matter of fact, the house in this situation doesn't exist. You are actually competing in pari-mutuel wagering. Pari-mutuel means you're betting among yourselves. The racetrack has no interest in which horse wins the race. Pari-mutuel wagering is people wagering against themselves, trying to pick the winners, the house being the racetrack, holding the money, and then paying off the winning bets with the losing bets that have gone into the pot. It gives the horse player a bigger advantage than he would have in Las Vegas, because by this way you set the odds of what the horses will go off at, and you also predict who the favorite is. The horse that takes the most money is the favorite. That's the one that the most people think is going to win. Gives you a little bit of a starting point right on there for your own handicapping and for your own starting to find your winners on this. But pari-mutuel wagering is what you'll find at the racetrack, and again, you're not against the house. The house isn't fixing races. They're as happy as you are when a 100-to-1 shot comes in and you're getting $200 for your dollar bet. Basically, the betting falls into two categories. There are what we call straight bets, in which you worry about one horse doing one thing. And there are the combination bets, the exotic bets, and those are where you're taking 2 or 3 or 4 horses, all of them kind of tied together, having to do something together. It's a lot easier to deal with one horse, tough enough to pick one, but the exotic bets pay off a lot more, and you have to have the horses, you're either calling them in order, you're calling them where they're going to finish, or in a variety of different ways. The straight bets, the 3 things you've probably heard of throughout the history of racing, they haven't changed: win, place, and show. And there's still, even in these economic times, a $2 minimum on your minimum bet on the horses. You can bet as much as you want. You can bet as many times as you want. You can bet in dollar increments also up to anything that you want. $2 wins 5, 10, 10,000. I've never seen them say no at a racetrack to a bet that's down there. The win bet gives you one chance. It pays the most. It means your horse has to come across the finish line first. End of equation. You can mitigate that a bit with a place bet. Place means you've got 2 chances. The horse can finish first or second. As long as he's either first or second, you're going to win something on your bet. Now, the racehorse will pay off in 3 different categories. He'll pay off for first place, second place, and third place. The win bet pays you the most. You get the full odds. The place bet is about half of what the win is, but it gives you the 2 chances. And then there's the all-encompassing bet, the show bet, which means your horse can finish either first or second or third. As long as he's at least third, you're going to win something on your bet. Now, with the 3 chances in there and so many people in that pool, the payoffs are going to be pretty small on a show bet. On an average $2 show bet, you can expect paybacks between $2.40 up to about $4 or $5 if the horse has got a little bit of an odds on him. If he's 50 or 60 to 1 shot, maybe then you're going to break into double digits, like $10 or $11. So you're not going to get rich on show, but it gives you an entry into the game, and it gives you an opportunity to see how things are going on there. Your horse only has to finish third, and you can bet as many horses as you want again. If the horse happens to win, that's great. If the horse happens to come in second, you win again, but you win his show money. The exotic bets, they're another ball game. They're the ones that play and pay a lot more. The oldest one is probably something you've heard of, called the old Daily Double. That's an exotic bet. It's combining horses from race number 1 with horses in race number 2. The idea for this $2 bet is to pick the winner in the first race and the winner in the second race. You've got to win both ends of it. The bet has to be made before the first race goes off, and if you get the first race, you're live for the second race. And if he comes in, then you win the entire bet. And usually it's a very good bet in that it pays off more than just betting the horses to win individually in the opposing races. If you've got the Daily Double, you're tying them together, you're taking more risk, you're getting a bigger payoff. And it's a separate betting pool that goes in there. That's a $2 bet. The other $2 exotic bet is the pick 6. All the rest of the exotics, which we'll go through, are only dollar bets. The pick 6 is very simple. All you have to do is pick the last 6 races in order. You've got to get 6 straight winners for a $2 bet, and it can be a life-changing bet. I've been around the track and we've had $648,000 go out to winners of the pick 6, $400,000. Last year at Del Mar, it was a $312,000. Doesn't happen every day, but when money carries over, when nobody hits the pick 6 on one day, all that money is carried over to the next day, and they try it all over again. And if no one hits it then, it goes on, and it can actually be a life-changing bet. As we said, I think the record is somewhere back east with over $1 million that was taken away from one of the bets. Always intriguing, always tough to do, but it's a $2 bet. The other exotic bets are a dollar bet. A dollar is the primary bet on it. It's going to cost you more than $1 if you're adding a lot of different horses into it. But we'll go over them. The first one is probably the most popular of the people who play the exotics, is the exacta. The exacta is within any race. It means you're trying to get 2 things to happen. You're trying to pick the horse that finishes first and the horse that finishes second. They've got to come in order. They've got to come in the way you call them. Bet it for $1, and again, the payoff is better than betting them win in place to come in that way. But they are tied together. They've got to come in the way you call it. The next one is the trifecta. That's adding 1 more to the exacta. You're trying to get 3 horses to do something. You're trying to get first, second, and third in order for $1. Now, the trifecta is very difficult to hit because any horse can come in third. Literally the worst horse on the track can come in third. It works out that way due to the traffic, due to other unforeseen things that can come out on there. And usually that's the one that throws people off, getting that third horse in there. Or the second horse in there, they'll take the high odds, and it's tough to do. So if you're going to be a newcomer at this, take a little look at how the betting is going on the exactas, and watch a few races and see how your instincts are playing before you jump into a trifecta. The other bets are the superfecta, which is taking the trifecta 1 more step. First, second, third, and fourth in order for $1. And these can pay off enormously. Most of the superfecta bets are going to pay off in the $500 to $3,000 or $4,000 range. So getting them in order on that is the big thing, and doing it for $1 again, you can get a few $1,000s fairly easily off of that. The other exotic bets are bets that are combining races, horses in different races together. That's what the granddaddy of them all is. The pick 6 is the biggest of those, where you're combining horses in 6 different races to find the winner. You can also bet for $1. The pick 3. The pick 3 is any 3 consecutive races. You've got to pick the winner in each leg of the races before the first leg goes off. And if you've got all 3 of them, you win the bet. 2 out of 3, sorry, you've tied the horses together. The pick 4, most racetracks now have a pick 4 at the beginning of the day and at the end of the day. The first 4 races and the last 4 races, again, tying those horses together. You can bet that usually for $1, and at some racetracks for 50 cents. Again, 4 straight winners. The other ones are the pick 6, which we've mentioned a couple of times now. 6 straight winners, $2 is for that one. We'll go on with that. Now, it's very, very tough to pick one winner, let alone pick a number of winners like we were doing in the exotics. And in the exotics, we give you a bit of a break at the racetrack. There's a technique called boxing, in which you don't have to call the horses in order, and you can still play them. And the other kicker in it is you can play as many horses as you want in this mythical box, and you can still win the race for a small investment. As a matter of fact, you can use all the horses in the race to guarantee yourself a win in the exotics, but I wouldn't guarantee it, because the cost of the bet, that's the difference. The cost of the bet will come out probably to pay off more than what your payoff is going to be. Boxing means literally taking this mythical box and taking your program, and as the horses are listed on the program, taking the horses you want, throwing them in this box, as many as you want, 2, 3, 4, they're all running around in there. And what you're doing is going to the teller and saying, I don't know who, but one of those guys in there is going to be first, one of those guys is going to be second. I don't know which one. Just cover me all the ways possible. Well, if you're using just 2 horses in your exacta box, you're trying to get it first and second, there's only 2 things that can happen for you to win. Your horse has to come in first and has to come in second. Now, when you box the bet, it's either or. Either one can be first, either one can be second. In effect, you're making 2 exacta bets, and you're covering yourself for either way they come in. And it's recommended to always box your exactas, especially if you're only playing 2 horses in it, because there's nothing more frustrating than betting the 6 and the 8, and it comes in 8 and 6 and pays off well. No good. They've got to be 6 and 8 when you bet them straight. In the box, you're getting the 6 and the 8 for either of the positions. Where you lose people sometimes is saying, well, what do you play extra horses in there? Well, let's say you like, in race 2, you like horse 6 and 8 for your exacta, but you've got, horse number 3 is looking like a winner too. And how can I cover him? Same thing, you throw him in the box, take a 3, 6, 8 box, and now you've got a round robin going. You've got any one of those horses first, any one of those horses second, and the other horse is kind of insurance for you. He doesn't have to finish in the first 2. Maybe if he's got a better price and does, you'd be rooting for him to come in there. But a 3-horse box gives you that insurance, and will cost you $6. And we're back into the 4th grade, as it were. And there, how many ways can 3 horses finish in 2 positions? The whole thing is 6. 3 times the number 2 is 6. 4 horses will cost you $12. And 5 horses will cost you $20, but the same mathematics that goes on through that. I wouldn't go further than a 3-horse box unless all the horses are long shots, and in that way I would also make sure I play any long shots just to win on the outside. Again, nothing worse than missing the 2nd horse in the exacta and not collecting on that first guy who comes in with a lot of money. The trifecta works the same way. You can box the trifecta. 3 horses, any which way, will cost you $6. But the way the mathematics works, if you just add that insurance horse, you add 1 more horse into the trifecta, all of a sudden you've got 24 different combinations, 24 ways that 4 horses can finish first, second, and third. So that was a little expensive, and I would stay away from that type of thing. If you're going to do any trifectas, again, box them and just use your 3 horses, but stay away from it a little. Well, this is Delmar Bob, and thank you for stopping in at equilink.com. This is your #1 source for all things horse. We're the top source for all things equine on here. There's any other sites like this one. And we'll be talking to you in detail about the horses, we'll be talking to you in detail about the races, and we'll be talking to you in general and get you going for your days at the racetrack. Have a lucky day.